And he's gone. For now. He's gone for now. I just had to start that off with a bang. Alright. Well. Got my music on. Got my music ready to go. Anyway, hello everybody! Welcome on in. Welcome to brand new episode of the Zelda podcast, the Kokiri Chronicles, where I sit down here and talk about Zelda every third day of the month. Last month, for the month of March, I sat down here, and in honor of Breath of the Wild's 8-year anniversary, I sat down here and discussed about the lore and the origin story of the Yiga clan. Why did they swear allegiance to Calamity Ganon? Why did they behave in such an odd way? I discussed all that about them last month, in the month of March. So if you guys have not seen that video, please definitely go check this out. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing. Definitely subscribe for sure, and definitely like this video for more amazing Zelda content from yours truly. So, since it is April, and April is the week of Fools, we are gonna sit here and talk about the most disturbing character of them all. This is a topic that some people have been asking me to do for quite a long time. So, I'm going to dive in and talk about lore about this creepy motherfucker right here. Yes, we are finally gonna talk about Tingle. This is not a joke. This is not a late April Fool's prank. This is real. We are going to do this. We definitely are doing this. But, however, ladies and gentlemen, let me just remind you guys that I'm not alone. So guys, welcome me back to the show. Please give it up for one of my amazing friends and mods, Bahamut!
Hello everyone, have a happy evening.
Yes, hello Bahamut, how are we doing today, good sir?
Doing good, how is everyone today?
Doing good, and everyone in the Twitch chat, let me know if you guys can hear Bahamut perfectly. I'm looking at Twitch chats right now. I see we have Goof and Ostafia and Spider. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Alright, Twitch chat says they can hear you loud and clear, Bahamut. You are good to go.
Awesome.
You are good to go. But how are you doing, Bahamut?
I'm doing good. Nice chill day. How is everyone today?
We are doing great. We are doing absolutely fantastic. So anyway, I'm sure you know why we're here. We're going to talk about an absolute joke. Why this person is so stupid. But anyway, before we get started, there definitely is one question I would like to add before we dive in and to talk about Tingle. I would like to know, when you played your first game that featured Tingle, what was your first impression of him when you first saw him, when you first talked to him?
Well, it was when I played Majora's Mask. I saw him like floating there, and I was just wondering, like, what the fuck is that guy doing? And then when you actually spoke to him, my first thought was, what the hell am I drinking? Because his design just threw me off. It's like it was such a stark difference from like the smiling kind of clear faces of Termina's people, and you just have like this high depth, really kind of like, I don't know, just scary looking dude. Like his face is constantly like, it's scary, like kind of like the Link statue, kind of doppelganger statue, kind of scary, kind of like that.
Yeah.
Like, it threw me off.
No, understandable. And also, by the way, I would like to add this for both Twitch chat and for all the viewers on YouTube. Feel free to share. What were your first impressions of Tingle when you first saw him? Feel free to like share your thoughts on Tingle as a whole. I'm sure you guys got a lot to say and probably a lot of roasting too to add on to it. So feel free to share for everybody in the Twitch chat and also in the YouTube comments. Feel free to share your first impressions on Tingle and what you think of him now. So anyway, my first impression when I first played Majora's Mask, I thought he was really, really loony. And honestly, you know, a dude who wears a lot of green, you know, a guy who's just floating in the air with a red balloon, making maps and drawing maps. It's like, why is he here? That was my first impression. It's like, I just don't like him at all. And even throughout the other games I saw him in, like in Wind Waker and Minish Cap, my impression of Ice was like, oh no, why is he here? Why? Why do we have to deal with this freaking loony? But that was my first impression. But what I think of him now, he's a fucking joke. And he's creepy, he's weird, and he's a complete idiot. I think we can all agree with that. Osafia shares in the Twitch chat. He says, first impression was, why are you wearing underwear outside your clothing?
Dude thinks he's Green Superman.
And then Spider adds on in the Twitch chat. Spider says, and I quote, I can only describe Tingle in one word. Yuck. You are absolutely right, Spider.
Where's gluten-free waifu we need her? You know, just like ew.
Oh yeah, that was definitely was amazing. Let's see. Okay, so if there is so if anything, okay, let me see. I definitely want to look up something. Okay. If there is one thing that I noticed, I'm trying to see if I can find it. Give me one second. Okay. I'm definitely trying to find something. I'm trying to find an interview that was mentioned by one of the creators or one of the workers who actually worked on the game, but I can definitely describe it. So, you guys are probably thinking, you know, where did the idea of Tingle actually come from? Why such a weird character? Well, let me tell you this. I saw in an interview that one of the developers and workers one of the staff members who worked on the game, stated that they wanted to create a character who can actually make maps. Of course, we all know, like in past Zelda games, you know, you usually find a map of a dungeon. You usually buy it from somebody. Somebody lends you a map. But they said, one of the staff members, like, we wanted to create a character who is capable of making maps. But if it's gonna be somebody that Link's gonna buy maps from, they wanted to make him a gag character, somebody who is absolutely silly and crazy and weird. And that's where the idea of Tingle actually came from. Nintendo wanted to make a character who was like a map maker, who was like weird and silly and goofy and a complete man-child out of all people. So that definitely was their idea. But I can tell you guys this right now, even Nintendo is aware that their fans do not like Tingle. Heck, even Nintendo themselves can't stand him. And I can even remind you guys of another character that Nintendo doesn't like. Waluigi. I'm sorry, Waluigi. You're still a fan to our hearts, Waluigi.
The boy.
Yeah, we love Waluigi here, chat. We do. Even though Nintendo does not like him. But, of course, it's not all about Waluigi. But, the thing is, you know, Bahamut, like, when you look at a game like Majora's Mask, like, you first go, okay, I would like your take on this. When you played through Majora's Mask, you wander around North Clock Town for the first time, and do you see, like, this crazy, goofy-looking guy just floating in the air with the red balloon on his back? You pop that balloon, and when you talk to him, he states, like, you know, like, oh, you know, I'm just a 35-year-old man who claims to be a reincarnation of a fairy. Now, where I'm getting at with this is honestly the whole reincarnation of a fairy thing. This is obviously a reference to the Kokiri kids. Now, we do know that we know nothing about like is Tingle actually familiar with the land of Hyrule? But part of me probably thinks that he is, knowing that he is familiar what fairies are, what the Kokiri kids are. I mean, obviously there's no telling whether he's been to the Kokiri forest before when Link was not around. There's honestly no confirmation about that. But we can definitely say this. The whole thing with the whole Tingle thing being a 35-year-old man who acts like such a child. This is just another thing in relation to Peter Pan. Now, obviously, we all know the story about, about Peter Pan. A boy who's definitely is like, goes to a place to where you never grow up. And that was the whole thing with the Kokiri. The Kokiri were kids, so like, no matter how old you get, you never grow up. And obviously we know that Link's design in Zelda was confirmed to be based off of Peter Pan. So honestly, the whole green jumpsuit, acting like a child, that's definitely is the personality of Peter Pan.
Yeah.
That is a cool Peter Pan personality that we definitely do have with a character like Tingle. But what are your thoughts on all this, Bahamut?
Well, at first I thought, yeah, he was pretty goofy in that, and I still do think he is insanely goofy. But as I played through the more of Majora's Mask, I noticed how weirdly out of place he is. Like, you got all these people with all these deep, dark, depressing stories, and all this whole moonfall, and then you just have this random 35-year-old guy who clearly hasn't taken his meds. And just... yeah, he's running around saying, he's saying he's a fairy wearing green spandex that honestly does not cover a lot. Like, it's not very flattering.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just it's like you said with the Peter Pan thing. Yeah, like he definitely gave me that kind of vibe as well, but on a more kind of like creepy kind of, if Peter Pan left Neverland but never actually stopped thinking he was Peter Pan kind of thing. Like,
yeah.
The whole, like, he left Neverland, but he never grew up inside kind of thing. And Tingle just gives me those vibes. Like, the thinking he's a fairy thing, like thinking he's a fairy, the thinking that, like, thinking that he'll get a fairy one day. It's just, it's a very disturbing kind of take on Peter Pan. Like, that's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, I totally do get you. Yeah, but even, like, and when you do think about it, Bahamut, and I definitely do see where you're getting at, because, like, a game like Majora's Mask it's a really dark story, and you deal with, it's a thing about conflict and a lot of depressing characters. There are characters who are sad and depressed, some who are trying to get married, some who are sick. There's conflict going on, believing, like, the whole conspiracy theory, thinking about, like, oh, the moon's gonna fall and everybody's gonna fucking die. And something like, nah, that's just a bunch of bull crap. That's not gonna happen. Everybody's in a panic, and you have a bunch of weird and interesting characters. You have characters like Seikon, who's just like a thief who likes to wander around Ikana Valley. You have the Potion Sisters, the monkeys, the Dekus, the Gorons, the Zoras. You have like a ghost researcher who lives with his daughter in the land of the dead, and then you just have this one character who is so lost in his own little world, thinking like, he's just full of imagination and sunshines and rainbows, thinking like, oh, a fairy's gonna come to me and all that stuff, even though we all know that never happens. There definitely is another character who is related to Tingle. We have Tingle's father, and for those of y'all who don't know, Tingle's father is a guy who actually runs the Swamp Tourist Center, the place where like Link can actually ride on a boat to get to the Deku Palace, and also is rewarded with the pictograph. And whenever you talk to Tingle's father, he says something like, "Oh, blimey, what's up with me, son? He's over here acting like a child and all that kind of stuff, he's like, he needs to start growing up and start acting like his own age and all that." But, it's just sad, like, to have, like, a parent who's just, like, disappointed in you for just acting like that, Yeah. But I can totally understand where somebody like Tingle's father is coming from. Also, I see Sora in the chat. Sora, welcome on in. It's the fact he's the reincarnation of a fairy. Yes, Goof, yes, Tingle actually does have a father. Yeah, Tingle does have a dad. His dad is canon. His dad is in the game. Yeah, Tingle has a dad. Okay, I'm gonna definitely make sure I didn't miss anything. I swear this laptop is like so weird, but don't you think that's also as sad, Bahamut? Like, like having like a father like Tingle's dad just like be so disappointed in him, like even telling Link saying like oh, I wish, I know my son is over here making maps, but this man, I mean, even though he's still my son, he needs to grow up.
Yeah, it's definitely it definitely makes me feel for Tingle a bit, just because, yeah, like he is very disturbing, like, but to have like his only family, like even his only family, like judge him and basically he's a slacker, or his son's slacking off somewhere, and he basically thinks like his own son's like basically a weirdo because he thinks he's a fairy and all that. I can definitely feel for Tingle a bit. Like, it gives me some sympathy for him.
It really does, because like honestly, everybody wants to have like the nurturing of a loving father, a loving mother, just to be there for them and to like accept them for who they are. But it's just I mean, even though Tingle is just an absolute joke, you definitely feel sad, like like having like a dad who just like doesn't like accept his own son for who he is. It's like, even he says like oh, I'm sewing maps just to make my father proud of me, and like no matter what he does, like his dad is just so disappointed in him, like saying like like he's such a like pretty much implying like like oh, my son is such a man child, he needs to grow up and all that other stuff. Like, it's just sad when you think about it.
It's definitely sad.
It's definitely sad. Now, one thing I definitely do want to point out, and I'm sure a lot of people have been thinking about this for years, but where does the magic words Kulu Limpa actually come from? Now, I actually did a little bit of research on that, and actually the term Kuru Limpa, in Japanese translation, romanized to be Kuru Inpa, is a term to what people in Japan actually use, to where they kind of like take their finger to kind of call them a crazy person. So that is the name of a Japanese way of people doing this, like the whole like oh, he's all crazy. Japan, like people in Japan do that, and that's another way, like Kuru Inpa in Japan is another way of saying you're crazy. You're a crazy person, but they also do, the whole like finger waggle thing. So that's where the whole Kuru Limpa comes from, the words that Tingle actually created himself. So basically, he's pretty much implying himself that he is a crazy person.
Someone get this man his meds. Jesus.
Sora says, "These are magic words of your husbando." Sora, no. Get that out of here. Check this man out. But yeah, honestly, word starts here. I totally get like how like this definitely is a job, because when you do think about it, like with Link being so unfamiliar with the world of Termina and getting lost, like honestly, if it wouldn't be, if it wasn't for Tingle, Link would have gotten lost in where he was supposed to go and everywhere, because like the reason why obviously we know that Tingle is floating in the air with the balloon is like he just gets a whole view of the land of Termina. I almost said Hyrule. He gets a whole view of Termina just to like map out of like like, oh, what's here, what's there, is there something over here that somebody can find if they wanted to come over here. But if there is one thing that I think is interesting, since we all know that that Tingle is infatuated with Link, thinking like, kind of like, seeing him as like, like, oh, like, this is my idol and all that stuff, because he's a person who just dresses up like a fairy, so he has like huge fascination with fairies. And I definitely want to share with y'all this artwork. I'm gonna go in and put my camera, my webcam capture up. So I just thought I'd share with y'all this picture. This is definitely is in one of the art books. I'm trying to remember which one it was. I want to say it's probably Hyrule Historia, Hyrule Encyclopedia. I want to say it's in one of those. But I want to show this right here. This piece of work. This piece of official artwork right here. Saying like, pointing like, oh, here's the backpack. Here's like, him making maps. the cobra actually, the reason why he's got a symbol of a cobra on his back is because it says right here, Cobra Mark. The main purpose of the Cobra Mark is his back is to intimidate enemies. The clock that he wears around his neck. He may not look like a punctual sword, but he's got fussy when it comes to time, you know. And then showing like how he has a drawing of Link because he's infatuated with him, because he definitely loves, like, oh, you know, this is definitely is a man who definitely loves fairies and stuff like that. And there's definitely is a lot going on. But in Majora's Mask, we can definitely say that this dude is just straight up weird. He's just straight up weird, Bahamut.
Definitely.
Now, one thing I definitely want to get out of the way real quick is I know he does make an appearance in one of the Oracle games, but he doesn't really do much. I mean, he definitely talks about like selling stuff and that, but he doesn't have like a major plot and like what's going on or whatever. So he's just there. He's just there. And then one thing for certain, Bahamut, is in Minish Cap. He does make an appearance in Minish Cap. And heck, even some people find that both him and his brothers are a bunch of weirdos. They are really, really weird. And the weird thing about that is that they have a huge, in Minish Cap, they have a huge obsession with Kinstone fusion, with Kinstone pieces. Because they think like, oh, you know, if we were to fuse Kinstone pieces with people, whether it be kids or adults or something, you know, a fairy is gonna come to us. Of course, we all know that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So that just shows you, like, even his entire family is weird. You know?
Oh yeah, they're definitely weird.
They are so weird. Asafia says Tingle is Mr. Crocker. He's much worse than Mr. Crocker.
Oh dear God, yes.
And Goof says he's got several. He's got several problems, but.
Oh yeah.
He's got several problems, but if you want to be like Bahamut, just say, dude needs to be on meds. Okay, so now another thing, Bahamut, I would like your take on. We're gonna jump to another game where he's got a pretty big role. I would like to know your thoughts on his Wind Waker counterpart.
Oh boy.
So I like to hear what you got to say about him. So take it away.
Well, the first off is how you meet him. You find him in jail because the people of Windfall Island thought he looked like a troublemaker.
Yep.
And it's the fact that like there's just him being in that cell is already disturbing because of how the cell is. Like, it definitely threw me off playing the game. Well, not playing the game, but unfortunately, so I've never actually played it. But seeing people play it, like, and seeing like the people explore the thing, it threw me off because, like, you see them just sat there in the cell, but then you move this box, and then you just find like this hole, and it leads to a cavern with skulls in it, and I can't help but feel like it gave me really weird vibes.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, okay, did he do this? What? But yeah, like, and it's just the way he sat there. Like, he sat there as if he's got no care in the world. Like, the dude's like really, really chill, and it's kind of like an eerie kind of chill. Like, I don't know, someone that goofy should not be that chill. I just personally, just me. But there's some stuff that that I saw someone find out later in game about him that really made me like really start to wonder what the fuck is this guy on. And it was like the stuff when you go to Tingle Island and you start learning about his quote unquote his brothers, and it's just some of the stuff you found out. It just freaked me out. Like, it made me think, like, what the hell? Like, is this guy actually like maniacal? And yeah, like, my first thought was Tingle was just the same as Majora's Mask. It's like, what the hell is this guy on, and why is he not taking his meds? Like, that was basically the same thing as Majora's Mask, I thought. Like, yeah, there was definitely something going up with him, like, in Wind Waker when I saw it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? And I'm glad he actually brought some of that stuff up, because I definitely would like to discuss about this. Because, like, when you first played through Wind Waker, you know, like at first when I played it, at first I was like, what the fuck is he doing back here? Like, why is he in this game? And like, and to me, when y'all do think about it, you see this man in jail, and it just raises a lot of red flags. Like, I was like, oh god, what did he do now? This man is locked up in jail. So it's like, so you kind of question yourself, like, wait, what the fuck did he do that was so violent or villainy or criminal to put him in jail? Like, what did he do? Like, he just looks purely innocent, because like the way he just sits there just like he's got no remorse, he's got no carefree in the world, you know. He's, you know, again, he's like that goofy derpy man who's all about, you know, sunshines and rainbows, and he's just sitting there so innocently. And like when you free him, he definitely gives you a couple of items. So if you're playing through the GameCube version, he gives you a Tingle tuner, which is basically a form of a communicator to where you can actually talk to him. And, you know, he'll definitely will tell you, like, hey, you know, maybe there's some goodies here, maybe there's some goodies there. You might find something on this island, or maybe this dungeon might have a treat for you or something. You know, but he's just very... It was definitely was used as a form of a communicator. But if you're playing through the HD version, yeah, he gives you a bottle to like, oh, you know, you can like, you know, you can take pictures and like point out stuff of like, you know, what you're missing, what you're looking for, you know, thanks to Miiverse. Obviously, we all know Miiverse is sadly dead. Rest in peace to Miiverse. But, and then, even though we did not even ask for this, he gives you a map to his own island, and so it's like, oh, you want to come to my island? You want to come? You should definitely come. And your mind, you're just like, no! Why do we want to go anyway? What's even the point of going there? Like, the way how you're behaving is like, oh, can I go? Oh, can you come to my island? Can you come? It's like, no, you don't even want to go. That just raises even more red flags. And the thing is, you can't even buy the sale for the King of Red Lions. Of course, obviously from Zunari, because Zunari states that Tingle actually came with him on the island, and as soon as they both got there, Tingle was immediately thrown into jail because of the way like how he was dressed, the way how he was looks. So pretty much the townsfolk of Windfall Island just discriminated him for just looking weird and goofy. Heck, you can even talk to one of the kids on the island, the killer bees, like those troublemaker kids, you know, and they'll tell you, they'll be like, yeah, you know, there's a weird guy who's in jail and he did nothing wrong or whatever, but, you know, you have those kids just like people are definitely aware, like, hey, there's a weird guy in jail or whatever, so like, what's up with that? And then after you free him, you go like in this little hole, you find this pictograph box, and you see a message on the slab saying like, oh, at last I found this and that. And this room is like you were saying, Bahamut. It's like surrounded by skulls, and I see where you're going at, because you think like, did he do that? Like, did he kill somebody?
Oh yeah.
And you're like, Tingle? No, there's no way he could kill somebody. Like, honestly, just by looking at him, he looks like absolutely nobody who would even hurt a fly. He doesn't look like that at all, unless honestly, you know. There's probably a man behind that creepy, goofy smile who probably knows more than meets the eye. You know? Mm-hmm. Also, I see Kai's in the chat. Kai, hello. Welcome on in. Welcome in, Kai. Hi, Kai. And she says, Tingle's existence is a crime. It is absolutely, indeed, 100% a crime to know that a character like Tingle just exists. But there's one thing I want to discuss with you, Bahamut. Also, I see Kara's here. Hi, Kara. Welcome on in.
Hi, Kara.
Welcome on in. So Bahamut, I would like to discuss you something. So, you definitely are aware of the 7 deadly sins, right? Like sloth, envy, pride, and gluttony, greed, all that stuff. But we definitely can see a symbolism that Tingle's deadly sin is obviously greed. The man has a huge obsession with money, obviously with rupees, and I can definitely understand. And I definitely would like your take on Tingle's greed, because honestly, you know, like in other forms of media, we definitely are familiar with characters who are so lust and so envy for greed. Take characters like Scrooge McDuck, Eddie from Edda and Eddie, you know, they're all about, they're all about, like what, like money, 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 money. Like, even take Wario, for example. Wario is a gluttony man who's like, he's all about being gross and disgusting and smiling. But the one thing he loves more than anything, other than anybody else, is money. That's all he cares about. That's all he cares about. And when it comes to quests, he doesn't, like, Wario does not want to do anything. If there is treasure involved, he's like, yeah, he'll do it. He'll do it. Yes, thank you, Spider. Yes, even Mr. Krabs definitely resembles greed. Like, even take Mr. Krabs. All he cares about is money. He cares about...
Forget me, my boy.
Yes. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, Tingle definitely is the major symbolism of greed. Because all he cares... Because in Wind Waker, especially, like, yeah, we know in Majora's Mask, we can understand, like, yeah, he's selling maps just to make money, just to help out his father's business. But in this game, in the Wind Waker, he's all about the greed. It's all about the money. He wants the rupees. Because when you do think about it, Bahamut, not only rupees definitely serve as, like, the currency for the Zelda series, but they definitely have magical properties. Now you guys are probably thinking, what magical properties? What are you getting at with this, Kokiri? Well, let me tell you. Let me give an example. In Breath of the Wild, of course, obviously we know Tingle's not in this game, but in Breath of the Wild, when you actually go confront one of the Great Fairy Fountains, you see, like, you can't talk to a Great Fairy unless you offer them rupees, just to summon them and to have them come to life. And they definitely go on and on saying, like travelers just come far and wide and, like carry rupees in their pockets. And they say that rupees is, like, a key to, like, summoning them. Because not only is rupees are a form of currency, but they also serve magical properties. And that's probably why that Tingle has a huge obsession with money, with rupees, because what's the one thing that he wants, Bahamut? A fairy. That's all he wants. He wants a fairy to come to him. And he feels like, the more money I have, the more, like, chances are, like, maybe I can go find a fairy fountain, and maybe a fairy will come to me. So that's probably why he definitely is all about money. But I'd like to know your take on him being greedy and just having a huge obsession with money.
Yeah, he's definitely a greedy little shit. The amount of people I've seen play Wind Waker, and I've seen the extortionate amount of rupees he charges just to translate a Triforce map. Like, I get it, they're rare maps, but it's like 383.
398.
Fuck, man?
398.
98, sorry. Yeah, 398. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, that's almost 400 rupees just to translate one map. And and considering the fact that 400 rupees is not exactly easy to get, like, yeah, he's definitely he's definitely a greedy sod. And it definitely shows that he doesn't care about how hard it is for people to get the money, as long as he gets that money, like, as long as he gets his fix. He's like a junkie. He doesn't care how he gets it. He needs that rupee fix.
Yeah,
like I could just imagine him like kissing the rupees like Mr. Krabs kisses his money or some shit. Like,
hey, I see it to believe it.
By a fairy, yeah, like
probably by a fairy.
By a fairy and that.
Yeah, it could be a possibility. Like, that's probably why he loves money. But honestly, he feels like maybe he can go out into the world and just like find a fountain just to summon a fairy, kind of like what you can do in Breath of the Wild, for example. And
so I'm sorry, Tingle, but fairies don't work like that.
Exactly. And one thing I want to talk about real quick, Bahamut, is this is definitely going to be a weird one, and you guys will definitely see why and how Tingle is just a crazy, psychotic, and manipulative man. So let me tell you all this. So Tingle's brothers were the one who actually crafted Tingle Island. And when you definitely look at the totem pole on the island, there's three things. There's creatures, there's moblins, and then there's fairies. There's fairies, and then at the top is Tingle's head. And you're probably wondering, and then when you play through Wind Waker, you're probably realizing, how is that thing even moving? How is that giant head on the top of the tower in the island actually moving? And the thing is that it is Tingle's brothers. They are definitely working as the form of like slaves, and you see them like pushing, trying to get the thing going. And even when you talk to them, they say that they're tired and they're exhausted, and that into a point to where they can't even stand him. They are like tired of his mannerisms. It definitely just shows you like how psychotic and manipulative that Tingle is as a character. And one particular character I definitely want to talk about with you guys is one who is not related to Tingle, and that is David Jr. So, of course, there are 4 Tingles in general, y'all. There's Tingle, who wears the green suit. There's Ankle, who wears the pink one. Knuckle, who wears the blue. And David Jr., who wears the white outfit. Now, David Jr. is confirmed to not be related to Tingle. So here's how the story kind of goes with David Jr. David Jr. was a sailor who sailed among the great seas. He got caught up into a storm, and then his boat got washed up on Tingle Island. And when he got there, Tingle was the one who found him. And when he found him, he pretty much gave him the suit and pretty much stated that he had to start working for him. So that is the reason why you see David Jr. like pushing like the little pole to get the little tower moving and spinning. It's because Tingle manipulated him, pretty much put him into slavery with his brother. And the weird part is like so on the communicator in the GameCube version with the Tingle tuner, you can definitely talk to obviously, you mostly talk to Tingle. You can buy like items from him and stuff like that with money. But most of the time, you definitely will talk to his brother, Knuckle. Sometimes he'll tell you like when you start collecting the Tingle statues in the 5 dungeons that you visit, that's when Knuckle actually comes out, because Knuckle also helped craft the island. And he will even state on the Tingle tuner that Tingle gets fussy because he's not talking to you. And he pretty much says like, hey, I hate to be a burden, but I think you should talk to Tingle more often. Like, he feels bad, and just shows you like how Tingle was just like, throwing tantrums, saying like, I want to talk to him. Like that just shows you how crazy this guy really is. He's really crazy. But also what he did to David Jr., that just shows you how much of a psycho that Tingle really is. Oh wait, what are your thoughts on all that, Bahamut?
Yeah, like it's definitely messed up. Because obviously I've never played Wind Waker, so I can't really speculate much apart from what I researched before the podcast. But it's definitely messed up. Like you said, like the fact that he basically just imprisoned someone who isn't even related to him and forces him to work, and even forces his own brothers to work, and from the clips I've seen, like he literally just stands there while they're just watching them, as they push him, as if he's getting some satisfaction out of it. And something that really creeped me out and had me think as well, and I know it's most likely just the fact they reused his model just for the sake of, they're his brothers, but the fact they all look like him as well, like even David Jr., they all look like him, and I can't help but think, did he do something to David Jr. to make him look like Tingle and his brothers? Like, did he do something to where David Jr. basically has Tingle's appearance? Like, I can't help but think, like, if that's the case, that's even more messed up, because it shows how far Tingle may be willing to go for what he deems like his family or something.
Yeah, because like I said, to kind of like keep in mind, he was a sailor, even though it is confirmed that he is not related to them. So he pretty much is Tingle just pretty much just like gave him the suit, saying oh, you work for me now. Like, that just shows you how messed up he really is. And I'm trying to remember this, but I feel like the whole price number for the rupees that you have to pay to get him to decipher the Triforce charts, I feel like that is like, I'm trying to remember, I think like the number backwards is kind of like a symbolism of like bad luck or something like that.
No, backwards, I can't remember what it says backwards, but basically, backwards, it's
893.
Yeah, Agent 93. How they say that in Japan is basically the same as Yakuza.
Yeah, that's right. It was like Yakuza. Yeah,
Yeah.
the number 893.
Yeah, and of course with the Cobra on his back, you know, it sort of like pseudo Yakuza symbol or
Yeah, it's a
tattoo
symbol.
kind
It's
of
a
thing.
symbolism of that.
Mm-hmm.
We all know it's a symbolism of that, but in all true confirmedness, the only reason why he has it is to like scare his enemies off, even though he doesn't.
Yeah.
The dude wouldn't even hurt a fly. You
It's
know?
also kind of funny because the tattoos are one of the main reasons why the Yakuza get them, to intimidate their enemies, you know, make them seem that more threatening. So it definitely it definitely has like that similarity to what Tingle is doing as well.
Yeah, exactly. Because everybody thinks like, you know, he's just this frightening character. I mean, like, you know, I know we were talking about this earlier with Majora's Mask, but like, you know, he's just a weird character that just doesn't stand out. Because like when you take a game like Wind Waker, there's a bunch of cheerful and joyful, tune-looking like characters. Like, you know, you have like Tetra and the Pirates, Link's sister, Link's grandma. You have the Ritos and. You got the Ritos and a bunch of other folks as well. But then there's Tingle, who just doesn't stand out. And it's just so weird and frustrating that why him, of all people, does it have to be him to where you have to go talk to him and say like, hey, I can't read this Triforce chart. Can you decipher it? I mean, I know he's a master map maker, but why does it have to be him? Like, honestly, I wouldn't have minded being a different character for free. Like who knows? Like, you know, like maybe it could be like maybe one of the Ritos, like maybe Quill, you know, because like when you do think about it, like take a character like Medley. Like Medley, not only was Medley like a translator for Valoo, who actually spoke the Hylian tongue, and heck, I'm sure even they could have done it. You know, like maybe get one of the Rito to like help decipher the charts for Link. But why did it have to be Tingle? Why him?
They could have made it so where it was actually someone who was actually a sailor as well.
Exactly. It could have been, yeah, exactly. Like it could have been the sailor. And like taking a game like Wind Waker is chock. I mean, obviously, you know, not counting the pirates and I already said them. The game is chock full of them. And like, heck, even look at Windfall Island. The place is crowded with sailors. Like you can go into the cafe at night. And there's like sailors hanging out at the pub. You know, there could have been like maybe they could have been somebody who can probably read the Hylian tongue, but you know they're just a bunch of good for nothing pirates who just love to sail the seas and just be who they are. But no, out of all the people who had to decipher the charts, it had to fucking be Tingle.
Yep, it had to be the guy who looked like he should be sectioned. Bravo, Nintendo. Bravo. Like, if you're trying to suck these traumatized people, you succeeded.
Oh, he definitely is good at doing that. But one thing I'm about to get into, and by the way, by the way, I just want to say that Bahamut and I apologize on what we're going to talk about, because this next few parts, a little bit close to the end, is going to be 100% disturbing. So, here we go. So, you guys are probably thinking about, like, disturbing. What else could you guys possibly think of that's disturbing? Well, since you guys know we aren't talking about Tingle, we had to do this. But, we're going to talk about Tingle's games.
Dun, dun, dun.
We have to talk about them. We have to. So, we're going to start with the first game, Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. We are going to talk about it. Now, for some of you who don't know, Tingle definitely has his own games. And Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land was the first game that he ever got. Now, obviously, these games never came to the West. They have come to Europe, so you are lucky that you have them, Bahamut.
Oh, yay!
Yeah, you're lucky that you have them, but here in the US, we don't have them. Excuse me. Goof says games. He had games. Yep. He has games.
Yeah.
Tingle has games. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention. Before we get to that, one thing I forgot. He also made an appearance in Four Swords Adventures. Just for a little bit. And every time he comes out, is like he has a huge obsession with force gems. Like he'll actually will try to steal them from you. Like if you see if there's like a big force gem that's just lying around, he'll just try to take it from you. And if you grab it first, he'll just get depressed like, oh,
my little fuck.
So that just shows you how greedy this man really is.
Mm-hmm.
But going back on track, because so Tingle's Rosy Rupee line. For those of y'all who don't know, again, Tingle definitely had his first game, but when he started off the game, he doesn't start off wearing like the green jumpsuit that you actually wear. He's just a basic ordinary human being. And the thing is, his first name is not Tingle. It is not. When you actually play the game, like kind of like how you can actually name Link, you can actually name the character himself. Tingle is just a name that was given to him. So basically, the whole plot of the game is that at the beginning of the game, you meet this weird, creepy character who goes by Uncle Rupee. And Uncle Rupee was just this weird character. He looks very old and he looks very poor. And basically gives you the suit and says, hey, I need you to go out into the world and go collect rupees for me. Collect as many rupees as you can. And this green suit will help him collect more rupees. And the thing about with this game, Bahamut, is that this game, the rupees serves as Tingle's life force. Kind of like, for example, in a way, like how, like take Sonic games, for example. Like the more rings you collect and you get hit, your rings drop. But if you go down to 0, you die.
Yeah.
So to me, it's kind of like that. Like you definitely want to be careful with like the amount of rupees that you actually collect. Not only can you use them to like talk to merchants and sell and like buy stuff, but it definitely serves as Tingle's life force. Like that just shows you like how greedy he is, and you can definitely tell from the interactions in the game. Like he's all like happy and like so full of life and energy, and he just wants all this money he wants all the money just to have it for himself. And when you actually get to the finale of the game, you actually see that other people who dress like him actually go by Tingle as well. They're all different looking, but the one thing that they have in common is they have the whole green jumpsuit. And they state that Uncle Rupee was a manipulator. A guy who basically manipulated people to get them to collect rupees, just to feel like, oh, collecting rupees is going to help them make their life completely unmiserable. But Uncle Rupee was just a guy who was like evil and stuff like that, and all Tingle wants to do is just stop him. And at the end of the game, there's like 2 good endings. There's one ending to where like all the rupees just fall from the sky and the whole land is in peace once more. And there's one to where you get everything, and honestly, the game kind of almost labels you like a jackass. It labels you like a villain. Because at the end of the game, you see Tingle like having all the rupee in the world. He's just loafing around, just loafing around and just doing nothing. He just does nothing. And at the end of the game asks you questions like, hey, do you feel good about yourself? Do you feel good that you are actually the real threat here, so now you have all this money? The game likes to attack you for that. And I think that makes it so weird for a Tingle game.
Yeah.
I don't know. What's your take on all that, Bahamut?
Like, yeah, the Rosy Rupee Land is definitely a freaking trip. Like, it is definitely a trip. Like, I've seen clips of the game, and I am honestly glad I never freaking got it. Just straight up now. So glad I never touched it.
Oh, yeah, it is. Go ahead.
Oh, no. I would drop that shit so hard as if I'd been burned. But, yeah, it's definitely a messed up game. Like the fact that he's just like some ordinary guy who gets put into this Tingle, like this Tingle persona. It's definitely like I can definitely kind of sort of feel sorry for him, I guess. But then yeah, as you go about the game, like and the rupees being his life and all this, it definitely emphasizes his greed. Like if he doesn't get money, he will die. He won't feel like he can go on. Like, it definitely adds to the whole greed he's got going with him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, yeah, no.
No, go ahead.
Say, and yeah, like it's definitely that entire feel for the game. Like, from what I've seen of the game, like he seems to think that money is everything. Like some people won't even talk to him unless they pay him some rupees, for example, and like unless he pays them rupees, and it's it definitely feels like he thinks that money is the like end all be all, and it's the only thing that matters. And yeah, it definitely gives me creepy kind of greedy vibes, like twisted vibes. And it's like you said in the ending as well. Like, I've seen the ending that's considered canon, quote unquote canon, and it's literally an ending where he is the most selfish jackass ever. Like, using money to buy everything that it was promised to him, going in limos with all these different like beautiful women and that. And it just, the fact that that's the quote unquote canon ending, it definitely adds to his creepiness and his disturbingness.
It really definitely adds up, because like it just definitely just shows you like how weird a game is. Like, heck, if you thought the Wario games are weird, especially because we all know, for example, like, you know, Wario games are weird. Even the WarioWare games are weird. And the only reason why it's weird is because it just fits perfectly for Wario's character. It fits perfectly, it fits perfectly for a character like Wario. But with Tingle, it's just a whole new level of creepy.
Oh, definitely.
Exactly, and it just shows like how greedy he really is. Like, there's another character that I definitely want to talk about real quick. So, in Twilight Princess, there is a character who is obviously is not Tingle, but definitely dresses like him. There's a character by the name of Perlo. Perlo actually works at the Star Tent in the Hyrule Castle Town. And you can definitely tell so Nintendo confirmed like he was supposed to be kind of like a what if Tingle was in the game. And then Perlo definitely has like, you know, the green suit, you know, he's like the pants, the clock on his on the side of his pants, and he's all about greed, and he definitely talks trash to you, thinking like, oh, you know, this is my game, you can't beat me. You know, and like sometimes, and then like when you beat him 2 times, he's like, "Yay! Congratulations! You did this and that." And like, and the thing is, like, he cared about he cared about fans. Like, he wanted people to he wanted to be swooned by fans. That's why he had like those 3 girls who were just like cheering and awing for him and all that. And like, and when you beat him, it's just like, "Congratulations!" And then in the dialogue, he whispers, "Don't come back." That just shows you how jealous he is of you. And after you come out of the tent, and when you come out of the tent, the 3 girls who originally were cheering for him, they cheer for you now. They don't give 2 fucks about Perlo. But that's what if, you know, but like I said, Nintendo did confirm, like, and like, imagine like if Tingle was in the game. Okay.
Oh yeah, Perlo definitely gave me those vibes. Like,
he definitely does.
Dude was a creepy scam artist, like, you could, just like Tingle, he was definitely ripping you, well, he thought he was ripping you off.
Oh, yeah. Now, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, Bahamut, we do have another game we do want to talk about. And this one is going to be the most disturbing of them all. This one is purely disturbing. Just a fair warning. This is definitely going to make you hate Tingle even more.
All pregnant women and children, you may want to leave the room.
This will make you hate him even more. So, we need to talk about this, Bahamut. Now, I gotta talk to you guys about this one game. So there's this game that never left Japan, and even Nintendo themselves have confirmed that they do not want this game to leave Japan, not to go to Europe or to the West, and there is a reason why. So this game, where what we're about to talk about in a minute, this game is called Tingle's Balloon Trip of Love. This is confirmed to be a sequel to Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land. And you guys are probably wondering, how bad can this be? Well, let me tell you guys how bad it is. So, in this game, Tingle is all about, even though, yes, he's got a huge love and passion for money and he wants fairies, but there's one thing that he wants. A girlfriend. And he definitely feels like, he's just a single guy who was like, he wants to have a girlfriend and stuff like that.
Don't we all?
And where I'm actually getting at with this, in this game, you actually interact with people to try to get them to fall in love with you. And the weirdest part of all, and here it comes, y'all. You get into these weird simulations, these simulators, to where you try to convince girls to fall in love with you. And the most disturbing part of them all, it doesn't even matter the age difference. These girls can be very young, like kids, or to like older people. And there is a reason why Nintendo would not launch this in Japan. Now you know why, how disturbing this is. And if the girls don't fall in love with Tingle, they pretty much call him a bitch. They call him a bastard. They call him that. And that was basically kind of like pretty much the whole point of the game. Like, you see Tingle coming out with heart eyes, like, over all these girls, like, it's just so freaking weird. And there's a reason, and I'm actually glad that Nintendo did not make this go anywhere else in the world, and they just kept it locked away in Japan. This just confirms to you guys how weird and creepy and disturbing of a character that Tingle really is. And if that topic alone actually disturbed any of you guys, especially those who watch on YouTube, we really are sorry about that.
And if I remember right as well, the tutorial for these simulations is a little girl.
Yes, it definitely is.
Yeah.
It is really, really weird.
Yeah, you have to practice this on a little girl, and
it's very disturbing. But yeah, what were your take on Tingle's balloon trip of love, Bahamut?
Well, first off, let me just find a sick bucket.
I'm with you too, buddy.
And second, thank you, Japan, for not giving us the West and Europe this monstrosity, because I've seen clips of the game and I've seen pictures, and yeah, it's honestly, it is a demand for bleach in the eyes. Like, it is that terrible. Fair enough. I sympathize. I think many men can sympathize with him that he wants to find love. We think many of us can. But it's just the fact that the way you have to go about it in the game it's very disturbing. It's very R-wordy, it's very creepy. Comes across as he's very sus, and the fact that that's just the focus of the whole game. Him just trying to fall in love with these girls, trying to find love. And yeah, it honestly just it does show how disturbing he is. He is a broken man who just wants to find love, but he also doesn't seem to care about how he's coming across. As creepy, as stalkery, as very not safe for kids. I can definitely see why Japan decided, we're not going to unleash this on the world.
Exactly, and it really doesn't feel like a kid's game. This is definitely a game that's definitely is 100% not made for kids.
I would also just like to point out this game, if I remember right, this game didn't even get an M rating. If I remember right.
Did it really?
If I remember right. I think if I remember right, it got an E rating. I think I'm gonna have to double check that.
You know what? Let me check that. Let me see. Let me see. It is confirmed to be. Well, according to the box art, it says it's rated A.
Oh, I think that's adult in Japanese. Then actually, I'm not sure.
I think so.
But yeah, I am
I don't know.
definitely.
It's weird.
Oh dear God! Just looking up the rating as well. I also, an English fan a fan actually made a translation patch for this game and released it.
I'm
in
not playing that
2018.
game. I'm not playing that game.
No. What fucking fan decided, hey, this creepy ass game needs a
It is
fan
so
translation?
weird.
Oh my God.
Also, I'm looking at Twitch chat right now, and there's a lot of people just like, excuse me, what the fuck? Hello, police? Hello, police? Oh my God. But now you definitely do understand why Tingle is such a weird, creepy, and disturbing character. And it just shows a lot what he's... Oh, Sora just confirmed in the chat. He says A in Japan is basically E rating for them, so it's rated E for everyone. Well, that makes it even weird. That makes it even more fucking weird.
What the fuck?
Why? That's so weird.
I would say I need an adult, but unfortunately he is an adult.
Well, he's the adult I don't want in my fucking life.
Nope. I don't want to live on this planet for anymore.
Kara, A for anyone. Basically. Okay.
Okay then.
So I think we basically covered everything we need to know so far. But so basically to conclude this episode, Bahamut, I would like to know your final thoughts as a whole of like Tingle as a character, from when we first got to meet him in the land of Termina in Majora's Mask, to seeing him in Wind Waker, to other games. You know, to other games that he's in, and the other games. You know,
like... Yeah, like, Tingle is... He's definitely a character that's made an impact. Definitely a character that's... Yeah, he's definitely a character that's made an impact. Like, whether that's good impact or bad impact, I'll leave that for people to decide. But with me, I would be I'd feel much more comfortable if Nintendo removed him from the series entirely, because he is not E for everyone.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, I'm glad that they haven't done anything else with him, because it's like I said, it's like we were talking about from the start, Bahamut, is that Nintendo is aware about their fans and how nobody actually likes him. So there is a reason why sometime after, you know, Minish Cap and Four Swords Adventures, that's why he stopped appearing in games. Because, like, what he did, I mean, yeah, there are a couple of games where there's, like, cameos of him, like in Phantom Hourglass, when you go to Murkay Island, when you go to the Milk Bar, there's, like, a wanted poster of him. And in Skyward Sword, Zelda has a plush of him in his room. Why? Why? Why?
Burn it. Burn it.
I would burn it, Zelda. Burn it while you can. But
it's right. Even when I have to play as him in Hyrule Warriors, I feel so dirty and slimy just playing as him, because he greets me out so much. Like,
yeah, he is very weird.
Any monster in Resident Evil or Silent Hill over this creepy motherfucker.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand why they put him in the game, like, because I know, like, you know, of course, you know, he was a character, with Young Link in Hyrule Warriors, because, it was a promotion to get people to buy Majora's Mask 3D. That was the reason why, they put him in the game. They put both him and Young Link in the game, was to encourage fans to say, like, hey, you know, don't forget, February 13th, The Legend of Zelda Majora's Mask 3D comes out on 3DS everywhere. Yeah. So it was a promotion to get people to buy the game.
I remember that.
But
and it's like one thing as well that always got me as well. Japan, they consider him the definition of an otaku as well.
This is right. Yes.
Like, it's as an otaku, like, I consider myself an otaku, like, but a Western kind of otaku, but I consider myself otaku.
Yeah.
I take kind of a lot of offense to that.
Yeah, he is definitely an otaku for sure. He is.
Mm-hmm.
He is. And I'm sure anybody who's watching this on YouTube and anyone in the Twitch chat can definitely agree that Tingle is absolutely an otaku for sure.
Oh yeah, like to quote Lion King, like he's the elephant graveyard of otaku.
Oh yeah, he is. He definitely is. But me personally, my final thoughts on Tingle is like, the dude is absolutely weird. Now we know like how creepy and manipulative this guy really is as a character. But there's a man behind that goofy, weird smile who just shows that beneath the mask is a man who's manipulative, creepy, and just a complete psycho.
And needs to go back on his meds.
You know, and also one thing I wanted to add real quick. There's kind of a reference to him in Breath of the Wild, and I'm not just talking about. I'm not talking about the outfit. There's a. I'm trying to remember where's the place you go, but there's somewhere to where you can actually read a chef's diary, and it talks about a recipe you can make, a recipe. Yeah.
Sorry.
You first.
So I was about to say it's in Gerudo Town.
Oh yeah, okay. So it's in Gerudo Town. Yeah. So there is something you read in Gerudo Town where you can read a recipe, and it says that it calls of cooking with fairies, and they reference as like, oh, like this person says in his diary, like, oh, it took him 35 years to make it. So obviously 35, that's a symbolism of Tingle's age. So there's just a little bit of an Easter egg right there. I mean, obviously we don't know anything about it, but we honestly cannot say for sure that Tingle actually came to Hyrule, but we don't know. But
well, if he ever does, Zelda, please order him right the fuck out.
Just get him out. Just get him out. Just get him the fuck out.
Banishment with extreme prejudice.
Yeah, but honestly, at the end of the day, Bahamut, he's a creepy motherfucker. But yeah, I think we pretty much just said everything here. We pretty much said everything.
I can't think of anything else to say.
Yeah, I think we've covered everything. And by the way, if that whole story about the balloon trip of love disturbed y'all, we definitely do apologize for that. We definitely do apologize for that. 100%.
I feel like I need a shower.
Yeah. But you know what? To take y'all's mind off of it, y'all should definitely play a comfort game. Something fun. Definitely something fun. But now you guys know, without a doubt, what an absolute joke that Tingle definitely is as a character. And Bahamut and I definitely know it. But Bahamut, thank you for being here tonight and talking and telling everybody about your thoughts on Tingle. Why this man is an absolute joke in every step of the way.
Thank you for having me. Yeah, it was definitely a great chance to roast this sicko.
Yes, and by the way, if you guys are not, and for anyone on YouTube, and Twitch, if you guys are not following Bahamut on Twitch, definitely go check him out. Bahamut is the complete mastermind who is a complete expert on all things Final Fantasy and Square Enix games as a whole. Definitely go check him out. Also, he definitely has his own podcast called the Eidolon Wall. So definitely go check that out for yourself. It's really fun. I actually was a part of that last time where I got to join both him and Neon, where we actually got to discuss about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. It was a really great time, but definitely really worth checking out.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Kara says, following on Twitch. I'm following him so much, I'm outside his house. Oh, shit. Kara.
Well, I'm moving.
And Mage says in chat, Bahamut is really cool. Yes, he is, and welcome, Mage.
Oh, thank you, Mage.
Sora says, I feel like in order to cleanse ourselves, we need to bathe in bleach. Spider says, I think I'm going to need therapy after. Honestly, Spider, I don't blame you, buddy. I think we're all going to need therapy after this discussion.
Can we just make Tingle drink the bleach instead?
Fair enough. But yeah, thank you guys so much for being here. It's been really fun. I had a really great time talking about Tingle. So, if you guys are watching this on YouTube, please don't forget to do the following by liking, sharing, subscribing, all that jazz. Definitely share your thoughts on Tingle. I would like to know what was y'all's first impression when you first met him, and what do you think of him today? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm definitely going to tell you guys about the next topic that I will be discussing about next month for the month of May. So let me tell you guys what we're going to talk about.
Please.
So the next topic I will be talking about on May 3rd. Let's meet back here on May 3rd. As you guys know, by the time of this recording, we got to experience a Nintendo Switch 2 Direct yesterday. And we got a bunch of awesome, great games. But there is one game in particular that I definitely would like to analyze, compare, and talk about. And that is Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. So I will be having a discussion on that. We're going to talk about information from what we know from the trailer that we saw from yesterday's Nintendo Switch 2 Direct to what we know from to how we can compare it from what we've seen in Tears of the Kingdom and what we can possibly expect when the game comes out this following winter. So I will be having a discussion about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment on May 3rd.
Get hyped.
So, and definitely let me know in the YouTube chat. Are you guys excited for Hyrule Warriors Imprisonment? Definitely like this video and subscribe to this video if you guys are also planning on getting Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment.
Oh, hell yeah.
Because I know for one thing, I will be getting it. I definitely still need to replay through Age of Calamity before the game comes out. I would love to do that. I would love to do that. But yeah, that is pretty much all the time that I have for today. It has been fun. It has been an absolute treat. Give me 1 second, Bahamut. But anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you guys for joining us. Have a great rest of your day. And I will, without a doubt, see you guys for the next episode. You guys take care and enjoy yourselves. Peace out.